Alright, I'm going to demonstrate how to do the bar here that you see. You know, if I wanted to say, you know, he lives and reigns and conquers the world, for instance, I would press the menu key. So the menu key then brings up a slash there, which needs to be deleted. So I have that built into my hotkeys that does that automatically. So if I wanted to say he lives and reigns and conquers the world, I have a little water sign to kind of indicate that. So then I'd press that, and it begins to type that out automatically, right? So to do that, fairly straightforward. So I go to controller settings, and sorry for the glare. You can't capture this on the SteamDeck without like an external capture device. Then I do edit layout. From here, go down to your joysticks, and your joystick's behavior specifically is Hotbar. So then you do the settings key, right? I want to add stuff to it, and you'll see that my settings key is a radio menu, in which case you can go and add additional buttons to do specific things, such as like my P key is to zoom in, my O key is to zoom out. Then you get specifically into radio button menu 3, which looks like backspace, T, and enter. So when I press that enter key, remember the menu, it leads into that /, which needs to be deleted because, you know, /G is for guild, /P is for party, etc. So if I wanted to say T, you know, to everybody, right, that's in the dungeon, I'd have to backspace first, then T key, then enter, right? And so to do that, you go and add your button press, backspace T and enter, and to add an additional command from command 1, you press this gear icon. The gear icon then leads to add extra command. And then add extra command is where you're going to add additional command presses, such as backspace, add extra command, T, add extra command, enter, right? So where the real magic happens is you don't want all these button presses to happen at the same time. You want them to be individualized. And so to do that, you actually have to jump to settings. And then you have to input your fire start delay. So my delete key starts at 0 milliseconds, and so from there, for my T key, going into the T settings, you're going to see that there's an offset. You're going to see there's an offset for it, which is add extra command, as you can see, and then you go to settings, and then you go to fire start delay, which is 75 milliseconds. Which then, you know, backspace, fire start delay for the T key, which is 75, and then of course the enter key is going to be a little bit later than that. So you can see it progressively gets, you know, more commands, right, as it goes on. So then, you know, I have one for ready, so backspace, READY, enter. I have one for he lives and reigns and conquers the world. You'll notice that backspace isn't at the top of this. And that's because I accidentally deleted it, and you can't go and reorganize commands. So my backspace key is all the way at the bottom with a 0 millisecond offset. So despite it being like command 44, it's still considered the first because the setting offset, the settings, is specifically 25, right? And so my backspace is all the way at the bottom at 0. So it's still technically first, right? So, you know, he lives and reigns and conquers the world. It's lengthy, right? He lives and reigns and conquers the world, and it's all offset, roughly about 25 milliseconds, individualized from each other. And so then, you know, of course, what I like to do is I like to set my icon so that I know, like, hey, whenever I go and press my right trigger button or my right joystick, that I can select all these different ones. All I got to do is to make sure I don't accidentally hit one of these. Right, I always make sure that my enter key is initialized first, so that then it goes and deletes it, then inputs the command that I want. Hope that makes sense.